Max, one of the biggest problems that the Big 12 could have and be hard to decide, may not be able to decide between them anyway, is for West Virginia and Oklahoma to split.
Right.
It's for one of them to win this game tomorrow and play in the playoff game, and the other team win. It probably dismantle the Big 12.
Well, Coach, I think whoever has 2 losses are going to be out. And both of those have got 1 each now. So the one that will merge. But see, I think that's the number 6 or 7 team.
Oh, I know that. But it's a good question.
I think the next team moves up is going to be Georgia. And now the decision will come. Then what about a 2-loss team? What if Georgia beats Alabama? Are they going to take one or both of those, or how far does Alabama fall? And then, of course, if Alabama beats Georgia, I think that it's a mute conversation. But I think Notre Dame or Michigan, one of the others, going to lose this weekend. Oh, not this weekend, but before it's over. Notre Dame's got a chance to lose against Syracuse, I know. So I think there's, to me, I like the conversation. Nobody's even talking about Washington State. They sit down at what, it's 7 or 8, I guess, right now. But the only loss they got is 3 points to Southern Cal. And of course, Notre Dame again has got to go out there and play Southern Cal. So I think what we're boiling down to probably is a much more competitive scenario than we've had before.
I think it's more confusing.
Max, we had a caller call yesterday. I don't think Dad and I did a very good job, so I want you to clean it up for us. He asked us, how do you defend the triple option? Corey, one of our great callers, what do you do defensively? I've heard people say you got to get your hands on them. I know you got to stay home. You can't get burnt. How do you defend? Give us 3 or 4, dumb it down for Dad and I, because we're dumb when it comes to this kind of stuff. How do you defend the triple option?
The inside linebacker takes a dive, man. Then you got an option. You literally have an option. The strong safety on the side as the quarterback pulls out, the strong safety now reads the tight end. If the tight end blocks, the strong safety's coming up. Cheats up to take the quarterback. You're not going to stop him for no gain. Then what you're going to have a rollover with either the corner or the free that comes that way, the free safety. And it's all a read on the go. And you go miss. That's why it was designed. You overload that side, and then here's the kicker that few people try is the reverse off of that. When you pitch it, you have the wide receiver coming back the back way because everybody's rotating toward the motion. Those are the intricacies of the triple option. But here's the thing, Barry. It takes so long to perfect that offensively. Then a team that works and works and works on it. That's why they have an advantage against the defense that only has 3 days to work for it. I.e., Georgia Tech is a great example of that. That's when Tech can win a few games along the way. And because you don't have time to work. That is such an intricate defense. A lot of guys now with the 2-hour, the 20-hour work weeks, about 2 hours a day. You don't have time to get ready because you don't see it every week anymore.
Yeah, I know you don't ask Louisville staff how to stop it because Georgia Tech, I think, put 60-something in. All right, realistically, Max, because we know Alabama's talent level. Sometimes you got a great offense, but talent takes over. How many yards will the Citadel realistically rush for against Alabama?
Is that an over and under question?
Yeah, it'd be more, you think.
Well, I was curious. That's what I want to see what Max says.
Well, guys, first of all, it depends on Alabama. Are they going to play their ones all the time? I'm trying to get down to really to make a definitive answer for you, Barry. If Alabama plays their ones all the time, that could be negative yards if they did. Coach Saban's not going to do that. They may get 100, 150 yards total, but that'll be against the 2s and 3s, and that'll be in the 3rd and 4th quarter after Alabama's up by 40. The line is 51 or something like that.
Yeah, 51 and a half.
Yeah, see, so I'm just saying they can do what they want to with that. That's why that question, to me, the question is what do they do with Tua? And I heard all Coach Saban's response and all that. And that's great. They already got a plan, though. They know 1 or 2 things. He's either going to take, half a dozen snaps, or he may play 2 series. But Matt Jones will probably end up playing most of the ball game because of the talent level. Unless, now, here's the other side of that. The mental edge, the psychological edge of how high these guys can get, which won't be very much. And I don't think Coach Saban is going to push those guys to get to the level to play an LSU or Georgia or play a championship game. You know, the psychological part to me now at this time of the year is just as important as the physical part. They're already in physical condition. So, you know, I think they're going to read that. They've already got a game plan. They've rehearsed that, and the players and the coaches know what they're going to do, you know, and they'll let the game unfold. I think the whole thing is not the yardage that the Citadel can get or will get or what the defense from Alabama will do. You know, to me, it's on the offensive side, what they're going to do to try to protect Tua.
Yeah, I've heard those guys talking about, you know, how the offense was disgusted at how they played, and that they've really have worked extremely hard, and they're going to come in laser focused because they want to get that taste out of their mouth, which to me is bad for the Citadel. Because
I think so. But you know what? I think they can score probably quick there, and I think that will kind of go. They'll settle in by the first quarter and just run their game plan. I do believe that. You know, the biggest thing Alabama's got to right now is protect, keep from getting anybody else hurt before they play Auburn and Georgia. So, and they all know that. And so I think they'll all be hyped, you know, again for that very reason, just to start the game. But once they decide how they're going to run the game, you know, my thought was they just go to the gun and put Jacobs back there and you know, let him run like the Wildcat situation he did. He got 97 yards this past week doing that, you know, just running the football. And I think they'll do a lot of that. They're not going to show anything. You know, I'm sure they're working on some other wrinkles for Auburn and for Georgia. They aren't going to show that. They don't have to against Citadel.
Yeah.
Tennessee and Missouri. Missouri has the ability to throw over a good defense. Tennessee has not ability, but Tennessee plays hard. Hard game to decide, isn't it? As far as who's going to win it.
Well, you know, Coach, you know, I like what Jeremy Pruitt's done with that Tennessee team. I think it's better. I don't think it's ended out. Missouri's got more offensive players, you know, that can score. You know, I had a couple of Tennessee fans on this week over here, and of course they feel very comfortable because Derek Dooley's running the offense up there, and then Derek left a kind of a bad taste in the Tennessee fan base. But you know, I think Missouri probably wins that ball game, but I do think Tennessee shows up. And I think they get a win the next week against Vanderbilt to get bowl eligible. I'm not saying they can't win this week against Missouri because I think Tennessee realizes where they are right now, see the improvement, and I think Pruitt will turn it all loose defensively and try to get after Locke in that offensive bunch. But I think Missouri's on a roll. They got a chance to have an 8-win season, something they didn't do last year. And they've improved, and I think they want to show. Barry Odom, I don't think Nair's playing for his job anymore. I think he was up until a couple of weeks ago. But I do like what Missouri does, but they're not consistent on defense either. So, but
the quarterback from Clemson.
Yeah, Kelly Bryant.
He is. Does Auburn have a shot at him? I would think Arkansas but what's his name recruited him from Arkansas when
Chad Marsh brought him to Clemson. That word, I just talked to some Arkansas people yesterday, and they think it's pretty well done. Now, here's a question: He's on the sideline at Mississippi State this weekend. Well, guess who they play? Arkansas. So you know, I'm really interested to see if he stays on sideline at Mississippi State or the second half does he go over to Arkansas sideline. That was the question I asked yesterday, and they don't know either. I mean, obviously, he's a guest of Mississippi State this weekend, so he'll probably stay. But he's there. He chose that game because he wants to see Arkansas again up close. You know, I don't know that he's the answer for Arkansas, but he's one answer for them because they don't have a quarterback that can play at this level consistently.
Yeah, I don't know. I look at him as a guy who quit on his team. I wouldn't want
Mississippi State, Barry, both of y'all, Mississippi State's losing a lot of people. They better get busy.
They are, no doubt.
I'm talking about the West in general. You think about this. Ole Miss, no good. Mississippi State losing a lot of players. Auburn can't tell me they're going to be any good. They got the same old running backs and a quarterback who's probably going to be gone, who's nobody likes to start with. I think the West is. I think the West going downhill.
Well, you got Alabama and LSU though, Coach.
That's
and
but the six of them in the league.
Yeah, but I think they're going to take. They'll take up the slack, and the rest of them's kind of going to be middle of the road folks. Look, don't count A&M out yet. They're going to have the number one recruiting class in the country, it looks like, and I like what Jimbo's doing now. He's having to fight uphill battle to change the culture there about playing hard every week. And I think they could be. They'll probably end up as a number 3 team in the West next year. But I looked at Mississippi State the same way. Coach Moorhead came out much like Gus did and said, "Hey, we'll be better next year." My point is, how? Why? They got 28 seniors on that team. So I don't know how they can go be better. And I just went through their recruiting on another show this morning. Their recruiting class. They got some good players, but you can't load up all freshmen and play in the SEC, particularly in the West.
No doubt. Looking at national game, maybe Final Four implication. Yankee Stadium is weird to me. Yankee Stadium, Syracuse and Notre Dame, 1:30. Notre Dame's a 10.5-point favorite. Syracuse ranked 12, Notre Dame 3. Notre Dame finishes up at Southern Cal. If they win these next two, they're in the Final Four. Can Dino and his crew pull the upset, Max, against Notre Dame?
I think Syracuse has got a chance. I really do. They've got to play outstanding. Here's the thing I've watched. Notre Dame's gotten better. They beat Vanderbilt by 5 at the beginning of the season, but they've gotten a little bit better along the way. They've made some personnel changes, and it's apparent that that the committee wants them to stay there. The only way they'll stay there, though, is to go undefeated. And we don't know about the Southern Cal boys. They got to go across country and play out there. They did pretty good when they went cross country 2 weeks ago and played Navy and did okay out there, but that was Navy. And we don't know about that one. That's your question. The best shot they got to lose is this weekend against Syracuse, and Syracuse knows that as well. So I still say if they go 12-0 there, they lose the first round. If they stay in the playoffs, I just don't think they're the weaker of the top 4 that I've seen right now. And then of course we still got Michigan to be concerned about. Harbaugh's never beaten Urban Meyer at Ohio State. So and we know Ohio State's not consistent. They lost to Purdue. They played poorly in more than one game this year. They still have only one loss there. So I think there's a matchup that we need to watch. So, 2 things I've watched very closely. With the committee, that we know the committee will not take a 2-loss team. And what about Washington State? What about either West Virginia or Oklahoma? And then, of course, what about Ohio State and Michigan? There's that number 4 spot somewhere to be open. Unless Georgia beats Alabama, then that's really going to throw it in a mess.
Yeah, but why do they? Yeah, I agree with you. But why do they keep LSU at number 7 at 8-2? Now I understand they lost to Alabama, they lost to Florida, they did beat Georgia, but Washington State, West,
Barry, they'll jump them. If it plays out. Of course, LSU plays Rice this week, and then they got A&M at College Station next weekend.
Okay, let me ask you this. LSU's at 7. Let's say Alabama beats Georgia, so that'll knock Georgia out. Let's say Ohio State beats Michigan. That would knock Michigan out. Now you got Oklahoma right there. Could LSU jump those? I mean, if those happen, now if they're bumping them up.
Not with 2 losses.
Then why are they putting them at 7 now?
Well, it doesn't matter right now. It does not matter right now. It's the final poll. Just remember, it's the final poll, and we got 2 more weeks. They will look. 2-loss team is not going to go in this year. There's too many 1-loss teams. And I just don't. Now remember, I'm just reading that from all the stuff I see and the people I talk to. But it's pretty evident though that committee right now. I think they're rewarding LSU in that position. They beat number 7 Miami. They beat number 8 Auburn. They beat number 2 Georgia. They're rewarding them for that. But they got 2 losses on the schedule. So. If they hadn't lost to Florida, I think that would have been one they'd have been right there in the mix.
I go Ohio State. Go ahead, Barry.
I'm sorry. Does it help Alabama that Georgia has to play Georgia Tech the last game of the season because they're having to get ready for somebody that's that's they're going to spend all their time on that now. They can't overlook Georgia Tech because Georgia Tech will beat them if they overlook them. Where Alabama is going to play Auburn, and they're not going to overlook Auburn, but I think it's a hard prep for Georgia to get ready for Georgia Tech, then turn around and have to play Alabama the next Saturday.
No, it really is. Georgia. I think Georgia will spend most of look, they'll throw a base defense out there. Here's what the difference in watching that. The Georgia Tech's offense, it has so much misdirection movement, and it does create problems for defenses that never sees that. And 99% of the schools never see that. That's why Georgia Tech is always a contender at that particular level. So what Georgia may give up 20 or 30 points, but they're going to score 40. I think that's the way Kirby and them look at it. Hey, let's spend our time knowing we can block their defense, knowing we can get the ball down the field, and we'll ball control it and keep their offense on the sideline. I just, Georgia's got more talent, and I think probably, I don't want to say better coach, but they've improved to the level that their offense is very proficient now, and the defense has gotten better. But the way you can't do a lot of fancy stuff against an offense you don't see. So you line up in your base defense in this man-on-man, and you let my talent beat your talent. And I think that's what Georgia's going to do. Wouldn't surprise me to see the score of like 48-32 or something like that.
Yeah, I just think it's a hard prep getting ready for that.
It is.
You can't look past them, and
nope.
Because they will beat you if you do, and then that Bama game won't mean as much for Georgia.
Max, Ohio State runs the table. And it's the Big Ten champions, which they could easily do. They'll beat Michigan at home, I guarantee you, and then they win the championship. Washington State runs the table, and they beat some good teams, and they run the table. And both of those football teams have won their championship in the 5 big conferences. Is Washington State, Ohio State not considered?
Ohio State will be considered. I don't think Washington State was. Washington State, the Pac-12 coach, doesn't have the credibility from a conference standpoint that the Big Ten does. And I think remember, that's one last objective that committee uses. They call it the eye test. And as flashy as, as Mike Leach's program has been, that they don't, the quality of their opponents is not the quality of the opponents of a Big Ten school. And I think that will be the difference right there. Now, again, Ohio State has not played that consistent. The loss is to Purdue, who is 5-5 or something like that. And the only loss Washington State's got Southern Cal by 3 points. But Southern Cal's 4-6 or something like that. So I think the committee themselves will do. But just on people I've talked to, and I don't know anybody on the committee, but a lot of guys that I talk to know a lot of people on the committee, and they just said no. Right now, if those 2 records come down the same, they'll take the Big Ten over the back.
Yeah. All right, Max, what's for supper, buddy?
Oh, man, this time of year I'm going to do 2 things. I think I did talk to you about a couple of weeks ago, either the Brunswick stew this time, because we sent y'all some pretty nasty weather this week, came through Mississippi. But I did a big pot of chili a couple of nights ago. Man, and here's the thing that a lot of people don't do. I use deer meat in my chili. It's not quite as greasy, and I spice it up really good, the beans, the onions, the garlic. And I put celery in it and bell pepper, and it's really tasty. It's not a watery chili; it's a meat, like a casserole chili. And I put that in a crock pot, and literally I let it cook for like 24 hours. Then the best way to do it, a lot of people, even once you get it to the consistency you like, I set mine in the refrigerator for a day and allow all those spices to mix. Then I eat it the second day. But anyway, this time of the year, the weather dictates a big pot of chili, garlic bread. On the side, we're going to do that. I'll have a house salad for somebody that wants that, with just a basic $1,000 dressing. Then a big old pitcher of sweet iced tea. This week, I did one I hadn't done in a long time, an upside-down pineapple cake. For those of you that don't remember, you put your pineapple in a fryer, a little bit of butter, you put your cake batter on top, put it in the oven. It's like a pound cake. You bring it out, you flip it over, and that pineapple, you let it sit. Kind of what I call it cools, but let those juices meet with the pineapple juice through the cake, and the cake's very, very light. And after you've eaten a big bowl of that chili, you need something light to take a nap on.
So no, you can't eat Mississippi mud with chili.
Well, that's my guys over here. They love that.
Yeah,
they love it, particularly coming out of the oven, throw that ice cream.
Just don't tell me you put that deer meat in there. Just trick me, because I don't think I'd like deer meat in there.
It gets ground like hamburger meat.
I'll tell you what's good is deer sausage.
Oh man,
Barry,
the same consistency. Yeah, same consistency. Of course, deer sausage, I always put the guys that do it over here put pork in it.
Yeah, but those links, those links that you make out of the deer meat's good, and that deer jerky's good too. I got a guy in South Carolina that makes that stuff.
That is good. Hey, I'll give you this. I went to eat with some friends last night. I went by he got a big old garage outside his house. He just killed a deer, about 120-pound deer in his front yard. He was out there cleaning it, and of course he had he's got a place where he feeds all the leftovers to the coyotes outside. That's how far out in the woods he lives. But that's unusual to see him wander up that close. But this guy kills turkey. His front yard is like 8 acres, and he's got 2 deer stands in his front yard. If that tells you anything.
Hey, Max, well, I know you got to go, but will the Troy coach get a new job?
I was asked that Wednesday morning on his show. He's certainly going to be entertained for that. He's got a chance to win out again, coach, at 10-2. That'll be the third 10-2 record he's had in 4 years. Neil Brown is a really good football coach. He's 38 years old. He'll interview. I can tell. Troy upped him last year from $6 to $900,000. So, but he's a $2 million a year guy, and I look for him to maybe get a job like Southern Miss or somewhere at that level as the next step up. And he's done a really good job. He loves that place. Remember, he ran the offense for Tommy Tuberville at Texas Tech. He ran the offense for Stoops at Kentucky before he got the head job at Troy. So Neil Brown is on the way up. I don't think it's in doubt whether it's this year or the next couple of years.
Appreciate it, Max.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
Y'all
Max.
have a good weekend.